Hi,
Hey
everybody.
everyone! Welcome back to What's Up Watchtower.
Yeah, we were just talking today and, reading some comments that are on our videos, and we're glad everybody's watching them. And I could say most people enjoy them. So either way, we just wanted to respond to a comment that someone said, what is the point of making the videos? Why are we making the videos?
You know what? I just do want to say, so I want to interject here,
Okay.
because it just came to my mind. I actually understand where they're coming from, because probably 10 years ago, I would have said the same thing. I just wanted out. I didn't want to think about it anymore. I just wanted to move on with my life. And I never would have thought in a million years that we would have been making videos.
Yeah, and there's a lot of comments that say something to the effect of, "You're never going to bring the Watchtower down." And I can honestly say that isn't really my thought at all in making this video. What they do is what they do. It's always been that way since I've been born, and I expect it'll probably continue that way for a very long time. So that's not the point either. we're not trying to like bring anything down. Although it would be, hey, I'm glad that you think we have the power to do something like that. Hey, that's awesome. That's a great compliment. But we're really just a couple of regular folks.
Yeah. Really, when we started talking about making these videos, the point was, for us anyways, is we know that there are people that are never going to leave. They believe what they believe, and they're not going to leave. And if they're happy with that, so be it. Keep doing it. These videos aren't for you. Really, these videos are for those who have been suffering the way that we were. Well, I can't speak for you, but the way that I was emotionally and mentally suffering from doing something that I didn't believe was true. It was having very dire effects on my mental health, and suffered from depression for many, many years. And so I just realized, if I'm gonna ever, live my life and be happy, then I gotta get out of this, because this is killing me.
Yeah.
So these videos are for people who are, wanting to make a change, waking up, feeling alone. You're not alone. There's a whole community of people who will support you and who understand what you're going through.
And I think we came to appreciate too how important these videos are, from a video that's an hour long to a video that's 3 minutes long, that somebody is just sharing a comment about what happened during their day, or maybe they just happen to remember something and they're driving in their car and they'll make a quick video about it. I mean, I've watched enough videos, and Robin and I have both watched enough videos from people that we think it's important. People's stories are important, and you realize that the more stories that are out there, it paints a very clear picture of, you can basically take every story as testimonial evidence of a situation, and when you compare all of the stories as a whole, you'll get a clear picture. One person, you may not agree with what one person says in a video, and you might not like the topic that they're talking about, but when you take every video that's on YouTube talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses organization, and I'm talking about not just from people like us who used to be members of the organization, but there's documentaries out there. There are a lot of Christian ministers who have taken it upon themselves to provide discourses and video series to their congregations about what Jehovah's Witnesses believe. And
very in-depth and accurate, by the way.
Very accurate.
Very accurate.
More accurate than most witnesses even know, as regarding the origins of that religion, and a lot of the history of the religion that is totally whitewashed in the JW's Proclaimer's book. So for any witnesses who feel like, if you feel like you're getting the whole story by what's being given to you by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, I'm sorry, you're not. You're getting one side of the story,
right? And
you're basically told not to listen to another side of the story, which in any other part of your life, you wouldn't do that. And when it comes to religion, it comes to the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, it comes to your Kingdom Hall, your congregation, the elders, you don't question anything. And the people who do start having questions, they start having difficulty because
you got apostate thinking there.
Who do you turn to?
We gotta help you out, brother, to turn your thinking around.
You need to readjust your thinking.
Yeah.
And doesn't that sound scary? Readjust your thinking.
Right. So, I mean, one of the things we talked about earlier is when you want to find out about any organization, a religion or a company, really going to their website isn't the best place to go necessarily, and I'll give you an example of why. So, when I first was, decided that I didn't want to be a witness anymore, and I was just, I was researching a lot of different things in my life, and I came across, someone was recommending Dianetics to improve your life, and I was like, what is Dianetics? And so this was 10 years ago. Let's just keep that clear. This was just over 10 years ago.
This is before Tom Cruise jumped up and down on Oprah's couch, or is that?
It might have been around then.
It's before people really knew what was going on with Scientology.
Right. So Dianetics led me to the Church of Scientology's website. So I was like, well, I know there's a lot of celebrities that are Scientologists, but what do they really teach? What do they really believe? So I started reading the tenets of their faith and what they do in the community and how they help people, and there was all this great information, and I thought, wow, they seem, they don't seem as crazy as I thought they might be. So then, as the more I did my research, and I said, well, what are former Scientologists? What are they saying about the church? So then that led me to finding out about Sea Org and about these billion-year contracts and just all the stuff about Scientology that's coming out now, about how when you get to the highest level after you've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for this type of education, you find out that we all got here through the galactic overlord named Xenu who dumped a bunch of souls into a volcano here on Earth. So anyways, then you find out about all the crazy stuff. So anyways, so really the worst place for me to learn about Scientology, I found out, was through their own website.
Well, it's like, we've had the opportunity to travel within our state and stay at a couple of bed and breakfasts here and there, but I would never think to book a reservation at like a bed and breakfast or a hotel without reading the review about what's going on with the hotel. Because if you look at the hotel or a bed and breakfast website, spacious rooms, great views, modern facilities, but have you ever gone to a place that you expected one thing and you get there and it's totally different? But when you read the reviews down on the website, you'll find out cramped rooms, dirty, bad service. You could have checked all of this stuff out. The reviews are out there, and I dare to say most people who are traveling nowadays are doing something like that. You'll definitely read reviews on what other people have to say about the place that you're planning to go. So why does it seem so strange if you're going to join the Jehovah's Witness organization?
Those Jehovah's.
if you're going to join that organization, why would you not read a review from people or talk to people? And I'm not talking about, that's like at the hotel, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you talk to the employee of the month and find out what they have to say. Chances are they're not going to say anything like a reviewer with no vested interest in the company. You're not going to get the same response. You need to get a response from somebody who doesn't have a vested interest in the company, who's not going to benefit either way, somebody who's neutral. And just doing straight up research on Google can provide you that. You don't have to find information from so-called apostates. There's plenty of information that would shock you silly right from their own publications. Start looking back to what the witnesses printed in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It would blow your mind.
But they would call it New Light, darling.
Well,
But the point is, getting to the scripture that Mike would like to read, and this is the first time I've seen him read a scripture in about 10 years. Now this looks like the silver sword, but he just had his bound in silver back in the day.
Yeah, this is the original silver sword.
Right.
New World Translation. And you know, this is a scripture. Oh, that's not the right one. This is. Oh, I didn't bookmark it. Okay, give
Yeah,
me.
you did. I think you did.
Oh, I did with this. Okay,
Yeah.
this is a scripture that if you've watched any of these videos that people put out, it's a common scripture. It's in Deuteronomy 18, and basically, where am I going to start from? Yeah, let's start with 21. And it says, "And in case you should say in your heart, how shall we know the word that Jehovah has not spoken? When the prophet speaks in the name of Jehovah, and the word does not occur or come true, that is a word that Jehovah did not speak. With presumptuousness, the prophet spoke it. You must not get frightened at him." So we know for a fact by going to older publications that especially, and let's just take one issue, 1914. You know, the generation of 1914 would not pass away until all these things had occurred. But it didn't start out like that. It started out with people who, what was it? People who were old enough to recognize
Age of reason.
yeah, the sign of it. And you know, and at first that age, they said, well, maybe a child would be 10 years old at the time when the events were happening in 1914 to understand what was going on. But as time went on, it became those who were born in 1914, and then to change the doctrine completely to say Jesus didn't mean generation, he meant generations. It's unfathomable.
Well, and another point about that teaching and about that one scripture, about that Jesus said this generation will not pass away, they also flip-flop back and forth and back and forth. Did that generation mean the faithful and discreet slave, those anointed remnant, or did that mean the world, the people in the world that lived at that time? So they kept going back and forth on that part of the topic as well.
Yeah. So to put it simply, we're just not afraid anymore of the organization. They can't do anything to us. They have no power over us anymore. No. And, you know, we have freed ourselves from that yoke of oppression, I guess you could say, because they're just men.
Yeah.
And they'll be happy to tell you that they're just imperfect men, while on the other hand, they tell you that they're basically the mouthpiece of God, which those two, they can't be mutually exclusive. It just doesn't work.
If you're the mouthpiece of God, then what you're speaking ought to be the truth.
Sure,
and not changing, because the scripture says Jehovah does not change, but yet they keep changing these doctrines. So
it's a multifaceted thing.
It's very, yes, there's a lot of different factors to this, and we're just really scratching the surface. But why we're making videos is, you know, it's going to help other people as much as it has helped us. And if it even helps just one person, then it's been worth it. So,
well, you know, out of, I would say we've had between 10 and 11,000 views on all the videos that we've done so far combined. And out of all of them, because I read all the comments, I check out what's going on, there's one person at least who said that they were having some serious questions about what they're being taught. They're, you know, going to the Kingdom Hall, but they don't feel like they can talk to the elders. And that's a situation that so many people find themselves in.
I felt that way.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I had serious doubts, and I mentioned it to one of my closest friends, and she started saying that I was speaking like an apostate.
Yeah.
So I couldn't run that risk. I couldn't run the risk that someone else was going to say that, or she was going to tell someone, and then, you know, then I was going to be labeled an apostate and dragged before a judicial committee. Yeah. So I just stopped talking and stopped going because I didn't want that.
Yeah, and it was only much later that, after kind of seeing the changes from the outside of the organization, that we could really put two and two together. It's very hard to discern what's happening while you're in the midst of it. And for people who are claiming they're not JWs, who are commenting on this stuff, if you're watching this, I mean, I applaud you. I don't mind if you hate it. That's fine. The more opportunities you take to take in someone's different experiences and their thoughts and their reasons, maybe it will click in you, because obviously if you were really kind of doing things by the rules, you wouldn't be on YouTube watching these videos. So
what are you doing watching our videos? Shame on you.
This is for you. So, but that's the case. People have curiosities, they have questions, they don't know who to go to, they don't know where to go. It's not like you can look in the yellow pages and find self-help, help groups for people who have left the Jehovah's Witness organization. But you know what? Find them online.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
So we just wanted to kind of put our 2 cents into this big, giant cauldron of stirring truth that's out there, because a lot of people have very interesting stories, and for us making the videos, we're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
And we've got stuff to say.
Yeah. So as long as it feels right to us to do it, then we'll do it. So if it gets to a point where it doesn't feel right to do it anymore, then we'll stop. But we're not going to stop because anybody is telling us to stop. It's going to be our decision.
Right. And the reasons, trust me, we've done our research. We've really done our research for, it's been a long time now. Robin started doing research years and years ago, and has kind of culminated in the past year or so with, learning a lot of new things, and especially the new changes that the organization has made. And the other thing too is that, the reason we make the videos is because sometimes when there's something that's said that is, like, for example, said in JW Broadcasting, or for example, the brand new Sophia video, One Man, One Woman, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, but this kind of propaganda actually infuriates me and makes me pretty angry that this is what's happening, that this kind of misleading, half-truth, hidden agenda type stuff is being played for little kids, and it's not right. It's not right. So standing up and saying that it's not right, I feel like it's my place, because I have knowledge on both sides. Yeah. So, if we don't, who will? Really, who will? The Jehovah's Witnesses are a secretive organization. Nobody on the outside knows about the Shepherding the Flock of God book, the Elder's Handbook, and the things that it says. But we do. We've been in the organization. It's everywhere on the internet now. And so these type of things, people who are in the organization, they don't know who else is going to tell them besides somebody who's been in and is now out and free.
Right, and once you learn these things, you can either choose to ignore it, try to forget that you heard about it, and stay a witness and, keep moving on with that life, or you can make an informed decision about whether this is right for you, whether you want to stay in it. So, we're not here to change anybody. We're just here to support through our own stories, and that's my that's my feeling anyway. And I'm a very peaceful person, and not looking to attract anger and hate to me. So,
the internet has X% of that on it anyway, so if X amount of people...
I expect it's going to come, because anytime you're putting yourself out there, but
yeah.
But anyways, so that's kind of all we wanted to say about that.
We're not scared.
We're not scared.
So it's just one of the things we felt we have to do, and who's to know in 6 months if we'll still be making videos, or if we will have said everything we have to say. Who knows if something will change within the organization within the next year. We just don't know what's going to happen, and we don't pretend to have this all figured out either. We're really just flying by the seat of our pants as we do this. So,
yeah. So, well, thanks for watching, and we might have rambled on a bit, but
probably.
Yeah, but hopefully hopefully we said something that might resonate with one of you, and you can let us know in the comments.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care, everybody.